see Nightline on the Wednesday was Valentine's Day, Wednesday, Thursday, 14th, 15th, the 16th. Nightline on the 16th. This is what it's saying. So all I have to do is put closed captions on. Okay. This is what he's saying. The latest development in the Florida shooting. The latest development in the Florida high school shooting investigation invoking outrage as the FBI admits it failed to act on a tip about the alleged gunman that it received 1 month ago. It's a little over a month, but it might as well be a month ago. Tonight, President Trump visiting that grieving community, still coming to grips with the friends and loved ones they lost. This one is talking about this guy, Joaquin or whatever. He didn't make it. I was just in shock. I just couldn't move. It was a moment. Lost his best friend. The friends and this of Joaquin, Oliver, and the girlfriend. They're all saying he was just pure love. I started tearing up watching this. School shootings are a thing that people talk about every day. Yeah. But the FBI had all these warnings about this particular and this disturbed individual whose lawyer, by the way, I told you, called him a broken child in court and put her arm around him. They said he wrote poems, that he was really deep, and that he was absolute pure love. He used to say that if he could just bring love to everybody, you know. He came to America when he was 3 years old. Just last year he became a U.S. citizen. He's the most incredible soul ever. They say his heart was so big, all he did was love everyone. He told me all the time what he wanted is to make everyone make everyone else feel loved. I mean, unreal. You have to just be gunned down like that. But them saying if the gun laws would change, we wouldn't be here today, that is just so naive. It's naive, people. It is naive. But Joe and I both agreed. Joe says he agreed for a different reason. If he said he knows that the guy, I said, are you sure? He's like, yeah, he was on psychotropic drugs, and anybody on psychotropic drugs should never be sold a gun, because psychotropic drugs, as the people like me and Joe, you know, whatever, that don't just bow down to Big Pharma, and you know, and they put right on the insert can cause homicidal and suicidal things, whatever. But I mean, Joe agreed that this guy should never have been legally sold a gun, but he seems so determined. I'm telling you, this is somebody who, he screamed that he was going to do this, and the FBI ignored they ignored it. I mean, they ignored the tips they got. I mean, unreal. If someone's determined enough, they're going to do it. In France, look how many, they were able to kill way more people by plowing that truck into the huge gathering, you know. Like Joe said, it's so so easy to get a gun illegally. So it's naive just to think, oh, if the gun laws were different, this wouldn't happen. Only naive people think that. It's not true, but we'll see what happens. I said 3 of these teachers, they died saving their students. They took the bullets so their students would live. I mean, unreal. They say he fired, the suspected shooter fired 150 bullets. FBI admitting it failed to act on January 5th tip that came on the tip line. That came in on Nicholas Cruz tipster about his desire to kill people. And erratic behavior and disturbing social media posts. Like I said, he all but handed himself to the authorities on a silver platter. Robert Lasky, he's the one I saw when this first happened. He's special agent in charge. No excuse. Like Joe always says, people punch in time clocks. This tip should have been forwarded. This guy says, I think this guy is the head of wherever the tip should have been forwarded. I don't know, but it's just fucked up. I, of course, don't know how the FBI is run, but apparently whoever it was, protocol was not followed. It's just sickening. Protocols were not followed. No further investigation was conducted at that time. Here comes Lasky, special agent in charge, FBI Miami Division. Yeah, but are you going to say why? Protocols were not followed and no further investigation was conducted at the time. Opening up further questions how this could have been avoided on behalf. Yeah. I bet he was on the news. I missed it, but and then this is lesser. This is the Department of Justice, Federal Bureau. This is just sickening. But again, it's not everyone that did it. The person that was supposed, they fucked up. They should be fired. They should be whatever. You know, they're responsible partially for the 17 deaths. Steve Gomez, former FBI counterterrorism, this could have been avoided, counterterrorism official. On behalf of myself and 1,000 employees of the office, we truly regret additional pain this has caused. This is absolutely outrageous. The information was actionable. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. It is now clear that the warning signs were there and tips to the FBI were missed. Wasn't they missed? Don't say missed. They were ignored. The information was actionable. We see the tragic outcome. Yeah, they weren't missed. They were fucking ignored. Call it what it is. It's clear warning signs were there and tips were missed, and we see the tragic consequences of those failures. He goes, this is a neighbor who grew up, remember that Cruz's mama just died 3 months ago. Shelley and her family lived just a few doors away from the suspect. There came a point you seen him routine when he was little, but then he's getting older and the trouble gets worse, escalating. Today, this is the same sheriff before. Today, the sheriff confirms we had approximately 20 calls for service over the last few years regarding the killer. How did this kid get a gun, is what people are asking. Any gun, I don't understand. You know, how he legally bought a gun, I don't understand that either. They came for a vigil in their grief. It's our obligation to carry their names, you know. Oh my God. Tonight, a high school junior that was shot 3 times just got out of her last surgery. Unreal. I guess it's looking like all the people who were hospitalized, even the ones like in critical condition or whatnot, they didn't know if they would live. It seems like they're all going to live, but you don't know what they're not telling us. You don't know, you know. And we don't know what kind of damage they're going to have, even if they do live. Oh, it's so sad. I told you on Nightline, or on World News Tonight, or on something. I think on World News Tonight, but the forgotten victims of the Las Vegas shooting are on there. The ones who live, but are permanently, like, really, they were shot very, very badly. They were fighting for their lives, you know. One woman's lost her entire eye, the whole face was shot. Another woman, her whole chest, she has a scar running all the way up here, all the way down to her, you know, all the way down. She was basically, and they're the forgotten victims because they didn't die, and they're suing the hotel, you know, that for negligence. Well, this time around, I think people should be suing the FBI, but good luck with that, right? Joke. Can't wait to talk to Joe about this latest shit. I was not expecting this latest shit. It was bad enough, because then, alright, you give him the benefit of the doubt, maybe, if it's somebody from another state who doesn't associate with Cruz, just saw this on social media, and people can say, well, lots of people write things on social media. It doesn't mean they're all going to go and act on them or whatnot, okay? And they claim they couldn't trace it back to the source. Well, this was blatant. They said this was a tipster. This person was close to him, knew him, and gave specific stuff. And this guy said it was actionable. Everyone's saying, I mean, the FBI fucked up so badly. But again, it's a chain of command. So whoever fucked up was whoever handles who's at the bottom rung. Like they said, this was supposed to be forwarded to the higher division in Florida and whatever, and they didn't do it. You know? At the very least, whoever really fucked up should be fucking fired. Just like that guy who gave out that false missile alert in Hawaii was fired. This FBI people, whoever fucked this up bad, it's being investigated, should be fucking fired, okay? No excuse. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. You understand? There's no excuse for that. Why have a tip line? Where I was hearing about tip lines, every time something happens major on the news around here, you know, in Massachusetts, Boston, or whatever, I mean, we hear, if you have any information, please don't hesitate to call. And apparently it's higher up the ladder, too, for the FBI. You can give tips or whatever, but if they're going to be ignored, what's the point? What's the fucking point, you know? Unreal. Unfucking believable, this shit. I'm always saying, this world never ceases to amaze me. This world never ceases to amaze me. You are in charge of a tip line and you ignore something that blatant. I mean, whoever did that, whoever was responsible, and if there's more than one person responsible, all fired. They should all lose their jobs. No question. No excuse. It doesn't bring back these 17 people's lives, you know. There's no saying that it still wouldn't have happened, but at least you'd know that everything was being done to prevent it, and then it still happened, you know, but ridiculous. And no, I don't think he should have been sold a gun either. That's the first thing I said to Joe. Why was he sold a gun? And then I find out after the fact, pretty much on Jimmy Kimmel, that that Trump actually repealed the law that Obama had passed that made it more difficult for the mentally ill to get, to buy guns. So, you know, I didn't know that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's fucked. But like I told you in another video, you don't have to buy a gun. This is the world we live in. People, you can illegally get guns so easily. Plus, I just found out last month about ghost guns. You can actually buy the parts and make your own gun, and it works the exact same as a regular gun. So it's any kind of gun, you know. So, and they're used in tons of crimes, murders, whatever. My police, they came on and said, these ghost guns, it's like a loophole in the system where you can't buy a whole gun online, because they tried it for Massachusetts. You can't buy a gun online. Massachusetts won't allow you, but you can buy these parts and make a gun, right? And they're not traceable, of course. They don't have serial numbers. They're ghost guns. I mean, it's just, this latest school shooting is a tragedy. It's hardly the only tragedy, you know. This world's fucked up. It's fucked. Fucked. Fucked up. Fucked up. Fucked up. I can't believe it's gonna be. My news was even saying he wouldn't be surprised if we break records. That he says it's supposed to hit. They're saying 60s, but it could be higher. I've heard them say that before, though, and it didn't happen. But I don't know. We'll see. It's supposed to be nice out next week, supposedly, for a couple of days anyway. It's supposed to snow today, later on. And I bought the latest Women's World magazine, and it's promoting the best things are high fat. See what I told you? 3 different magazines come out from the same company in a short amount of time, and there's a diet for every. The one is stressing low carb. The other one is saying we women need more carbs in the wintertime. Our bodies are actually designed to digest a certain thing, whatever, in the wintertime and whatever, and you know, so you need high carbs. And this latest thing is promoting high fat. Well, just a merry-go-round of diets. Everyone has a different opinion on what will work, and it's because there's no one right diet for anybody. Oh, the news was having too that all those cleaners. You need all this stuff that we've been saying in the natural world, not me specifically, I mean just people, because I follow that now, but saying in the natural world about this, that, or whatever, eventually comes out. They're now saying those cleaners that you use to clean your house, certain cleaners are actually worse for you than cigarette smoking, to breathe in that shit. Unreal. I don't use it anymore. I use all natural stuff. I make homemade stuff now. But even before then, I was buying natural stuff that's similar to the homemade, I guess. I don't know. Now I just do what Joe does, mixing, hydrogen peroxide and vinegar. But isn't it interesting, now they're saying those chemicals that people use to clean and clean and clean, worse for you than cigarette smoke. Worse for you than smoking. Oh my God. All this stuff they come out with, people scoff at it, and it takes forever for mainstream to catch up and say, yep, that's how it is. It's the truth. Forever for sites. Joe taught me all these people talking about how bad for you all these chemical cleaners are that you used to clean, and now it's come out. Worse, I didn't watch it, but I saw it advertised. Worse than cigarette smoke. Worse than smoking. They've conducted all these studies, and people in the natural world who already were saying this many, 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 many years ago be like, yeah, no duh. It's just like I have on Netflix these documentaries where they're saying, again, no duh, it's diet. Diet. Diet, diet, diet. The foods we eat, diet, is the cause of all illness. Okay? All these bad things that happen are all the result of diet. That's what these documentaries are saying, Oh, and I was watching Dr. Oz the other day. The biggest food fraud in U.S. history, I was unaware of it. Honey. Apparently China, whatever, is sending the biggest food fraud. It's not honey. It's easy. There was an expert on the Dr. Oz started seeing how easy it is to fool people. Because honey is just honey. It has nothing else in it, and then plus honey is used in all kinds of other things. And apparently it's the biggest food fraud in U.S. history. That all this stuff labeled as honey in the stores and whatnot is not honey. It's fake. People think it's honey, and it's really like corn syrup and something else in it, and people are fooled and they don't know. Who knows how it came to light, just like anything, But it's apparently the biggest food fraud in U.S. history, and honey's not cheap, okay? Especially if you're buying the more expensive honey, and that's fake too. And then it was saying, how do you know if you're getting pure honey? I order honey off of Vitacost. I think it's raw. I mean, there's so many things, We who use honey just trusted that it's honey. I mean, why are we going to think that it's not? But it's just sick. But I think it probably was only the cheaper honeys, and the thing is, it was being used too in stuff that claims that has honey in it. That's easy to. It doesn't really have honey in it, but I mean, I'll eat honey plain, and I'm pretty damn sure that it's honey. But I buy higher end honey, so it's probably the cheaper honeys that were being faked. But I don't know. But I do know what it was called, the biggest food fraud in U.S. history, so that's major. It's major. I should probably look it up online. So I just saw it briefly on the Dr. Oz show that I only put on, I didn't get to see the whole thing. But I saw enough of it to say, holy fuck. Pretty much every time you turn around, there's something new. That's all I have to say. Every time you turn around, it's something new. Something new, something new. Something new. Last time I bought Halo ice cream, the cashier was like, my brother lost over 100 just because of this ice cream. Having it instead of ice cream, you know. That's the latest thing. It's for a whole pint. It has like 280 to 340 calories. It has probiotics. It has, or prebiotics, whatever it says, that kind of stuff that's really good for you. It only has that many calories for the whole pint, whereas normally a quarter of a pint would have that many calories a lot of times. And high protein, but it does have erythritol in it. I mean, it's still an artificial sweetener. I don't know, it's supposed to be better than others. Halo Top ice cream is expensive for a pint. It's from $5 to $6. I saw it at a, when I went out of here, far away, or whatever. I saw it they were selling it at a drugstore, but of course, then it was like $7, you know, because you pay $5 to $6 in the regular store. I only get it once in a while. You know what I mean? I'd like to eventually, want a lot of flavors. I'd like to eventually at least try every flavor, you know. I've tried a lot of them. They had pumpkin, but that was a limited time, just for the holidays. I tried that one. Oatmeal cookie. Mocha chip. Lemon cake. Mint chip. Peanut butter cup. A lot of flavors. For his new video, God's Plan, rapper Drake walked to the streets of Miami, making strangers' dreams come true, giving away almost $1 million. Wow. Anything you want in the store is free. Huh. After posting a video, Drake issued a challenge on his Instagram to go out and bring someone joy. Oh, interesting. That's nice. What's behind the shocking breakup of Justin and Jennifer Aniston? Not shocking to me. It shouldn't be shocking to anybody. That's like the biggest back and forth, their relationship. Just Jennifer Aniston and Justin Thoreau, you know. Stop. Jen and Justin's shocking behavior. I've watched this friggin' show when I've been up, but I don't like it. It's called Page 6 TV. Behind Jen and Justin's bombshell breakup announcement. They were on the rocks from the beginning, you know what I mean? It's like, I should not have got married in the first place. We have two best friends who decide to part ways as a couple. Normally we do this privately, but given that the gossip industry cannot resist an opportunity to speculate and invent, we want to convey the truth directly. You're not two best friends. It was off again and on again even before you got married, when you were just together and dating and unreal. That was a recording I was watching, so it only did that. Very, it does like a couple minutes of the next thing. I don't delete that. Well, like I said in the other video, this is not my cause of my fight or whatever. It'll be interesting to see though if change is enacted, if you know, if the gun laws are changed in any manner whatsoever. Oh, in light of this latest thing, I wouldn't hold my breath, but it'll be interesting to see. Interesting to see. I don't know. I said I see both sides of the controversy. I definitely see both sides, and always have and always will, of the controversies revolving around, you know, the abortion thing. That's why when Joe gets into it with me, he's like, well, we don't, you know, as a society, we don't value human life, and he gets into the abortion thing. Well, 17 lives were lost at this school, but what about all the hundreds of thousands of babies killed? And I'm like, Joe, you don't want to go there with me, okay? I am never going to value, and plus, if we believe in reincarnation, that this, you know, there's so many, this is why I get into Joe, there's so many people who have kids and shouldn't. You know, those kids, as far as I'm concerned, we're better off to not even come here, you know. So it goes way deeper with me, someone like me who believes in, like, than just, okay, a woman's right to her body, whatever. But I'm always going to view that's just, you know, like a lot of people, probably most people, you know, have more value somebody who's outside the womb and able to think and feel and has grown up and whatnot, and then, you know, gets gunned down by a sicko than something inside the womb that hasn't even been in this world yet, dying, you know. So when Joe gets into that, I mean, I respect his beliefs, but I'm not going to. I'm like, you don't want to go there with me, Joe. Because again, I see both sides of that too. And I definitely totally disagree with anybody who does late stage, you know. You shouldn't do abortions when there's no excuse for that. If a woman wants an abortion, she knows she doesn't need to have an abortion when the baby inside of her is like, 6 months in, you know, a baby can live at 6 months. But when it's just like that, no, I disagree. But I also disagree on a different level because, you know, there's so many, and I don't think anyone should be forced to have that. And it's just, you know, it's complicated, complex, and when abortion was illegal, as it was when my mom was, women died getting illegal abortions, so. But abortion can be legal without it being absolutely ridiculous, you know. And at late stage, that is a human being, you know, so. But it's not something I want to discuss with Joe, because I'm not going to agree with him on it. I'm not going to agree with him on everything, you know. But I see both sides in that, just like I see both sides on this gun thing. I most definitely do. But I also see how naive people are, thinking that those people could go even further radical. We just get rid of all guns, and then no, all you'd be doing is taking them away from the people legally allowed to have them. You never get them away from the criminals. Criminals will always have guns, you know. I don't know. It's a sticky situation. And of course, after this Florida shooting, there was already copycat threats. Here in Massachusetts, there was these kids, I guess, were threatening. One was an ex-student, just like this Cruz guy was an ex-student here, threatening to blow up schools in, shoot up schools in, or blow up them or whatever the threat was. They didn't get specific, but they were stopped anyway. They were been arrested because in I think Rockland and Bridgewater or something like that. And the guy running that came on and said, "We take this seriously, and these individuals for making these threats are going to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law." Complicated time we live in. I don't know where it's all headed. Too much. Too much. Yesterday, apparently, the stupid red line door wouldn't open, and these people got stuck on the red line, and they got stuck, and they couldn't get out. And what's bad about this, and that's why they said it's not about, the guy was being very rational. He's like, it's not about us getting stuck, it's about the phone where you call for help. They couldn't reach the conductor, and there's a phone where you're supposed to call for help. Didn't work. And what they said was so true. They're like, okay, this is not about a malfunction with the doors, or whatever, malfunction with the doors, so all these people on there couldn't get out of that particular car. It's about, if that door doesn't open, and this made such sense, if that door's not opening, then the people on the outside probably aren't going to report it or notice it. They'll just go in a different car, right? And they said, this guy was like, it's not about us getting stuck with them. It's about the fact that there could be a little old lady on this train who doesn't have a cell phone, and how long would she be stuck in this car before somebody realized what had happened? That's what it's about. It's about fucking ridiculous. The phone that you're supposed to use to call somebody for help didn't work. Apparently these cars have, I don't know, I've never seen that. Do they all have that, where you can call for help? I don't know. But that's what the problem is that they were able to finally get help because they could call on cell phones, whatever. But what if there was one person on there? What if that could happen? So there's no excuse, and of course the MBTA, it's being investigated, But I liked what the guy said. He's like, we're not getting up, we know things happen, we're not getting upset, like, the doors malfunction, okay, all fine and good, but it's about the equipment used to call for help not working, and what if somebody was on there, it was just one person, and they didn't have a cell phone? How long, they used the thing like a little old lady who didn't have a cell phone, how long would she be stuck on that car? Probably a long, long time. Because no one's going to think it's only one car not opening, so there's a whole big train you can get on. If the doors don't open, you run to the next door, and that could happen where no one's even gonna report it, and that's not good. So they say that shooting, it lasted just 13 minutes. That's how much carnage one of those AR-15s can do in such a short time. Like I told you, it's interesting to me is that technically a shooter could just shoot up the one room and kill everyone in there. But that they don't do that. They want to just, because it's about the fear they want to cause too, so they go room to room. They shoot into one room, and they know probably some people have died and injured and whatnot, and then they move on to, like he went to 5 different rooms in that school, like 2 different floors. This is comedy TV. I should set these to record. I like watching stand-up comedy. And it comes on, in the middle of the night. We're not necessarily shouldn't be watching it. Imagine what these kids think. It's like the ones who survive are saying, you hear about these school shootings, you don't think it's going to happen in your school, and then it does. We know this isn't going to be the last one. It's only a matter of if, not when. I start to choke up a little bit when I see them, when I hear them talking about the loved ones they lost and whatnot. Oh, so sad. Father who lost his 14-year-old daughter, I forget her name, but he went on social media and was like, saying, I think to like hug your kids tight and whatnot. Because for all these kids that the parents just had no idea they were sending their kids off, and that was the last time they were going to see them. Unreal. Sad. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. We'll see what happens. Knowing what I know, this world is something else, but throw in all the stuff that I don't talk about, throw in all the stuff that I don't know, because like Joe says, you don't read, you don't study all this shit like I know, Joe. You're right, I don't. Because everyone can only do what they can do and handle what they can handle, and I don't want to go as deep into the heart of darkness in our country. The figurative speaking heart of darkness. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I'll listen to you when I can sit here and just veg out on the couch and talk to you on my cell phone, but I don't want to spend the time just finding out all this shit that I don't know about that's just going to make me more and more depressed, Joe has a different mentality than I do, so... Anyway, that's it. Good night.